Hey everybody, how's it going? Uh, Thought I'd do a video on the Space Marine game. I finished the single player campaign. Haven't been feeling that well uh, for a couple of days, so pretty much in one sitting I played through the Space Marine game. Had nothing better to do except sit around and relax. So I played the game, and before I knew it, I was immersed in it, and I just didn't want to put it down. I played through it. It was lots of fun. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about my thoughts on it without giving away any spoilers, so don't worry about that. I'm not going to do that. Um, as a whole, I really liked the game. I think the game did a great job of what's the word I'm looking for? It did a great job of uh, capturing the idea of Warhammer 40k, the universe of 40k being a grim, dark, violent warring type of setting. I think the game captured that very well, and I think the game captured the idea of the basics of what a Space Marine is. It is a third person video game, third person shooter, I guess is what you would classify it as, and I think it did a great job in that genre of video games. You get immersed into the setting, and the setting is very much 40k setting. You can't mistake it once you know what a 40k setting is. Very type of violent war style setting with the way you combo people out and regain health. And overall, I think they did a good job. They didn't go too technical where you have to be somebody already a fan of 40k and Space Marines to enjoy it, which is good. If they went that technical, I think it would hurt the game. Basically, when I played through the game, I thought about it as, would somebody who knows nothing about 40k or Space Marines, basically knows nothing about 40k in general, would they be able to pick up the game, enjoy it, and not feel like they missed out because they don't know anything about the setting, of which 40k has a really big setting? And would they feel overwhelmed by the amount of stuff in there to kind of get the feel and the fluff of the setting out there and in people's minds? And I think, even though I know about 40k and Space Marines, I do think that somebody who doesn't can pick up this game and enjoy it. And at the end of the game, they can walk away going, so that's what Warhammer 40k's universe is like. And they can walk away from it going, so that's the basics of what a Space Marine does and is like. So I think, as far as if they were trying to accomplish anything, they definitely accomplished that, which is good. And it leads to an enjoyable game. Because it doesn't bog you down in the fluff and everything. Because there is a lot of fluff in just the Ultramarines chapter, and a lot of fluff in what the Mechanicum is, and a lot of fluff in this, that, and the other thing. So the fact that it's very light on going super tentacle is good. So I'm not going to talk about the gameplay or anything like that, but what I will say is there's a lot of stuff for us hobbyists for wargaming in here in terms of inspiration. The Space Marines armor is ornate a bit for Captain Titus and his two Ultramarines with him. That's cool. Definitely can get inspired to convert stuff up for that if you're an Ultramarine player or even just a Space Marine player. You know, just leave out the Ultramarine iconography. If you're an Orc player, you can make your Orcs look kind of like how the Orc Knobs looked here, or the Orc Arboys looked here, and the Orc Warboss and all that. Kind of convert them up to look that way. And terrain-wise, you can definitely get inspiration from making Forge World terrain or Seas of Death terrain even. And converting stuff up to look more like Forge World or Mechanicum terrain. You can even do Blood on the Void style stuff, either representing a Mechanicum vessel, because you go through a lot of buildings, and you can imagine that they probably wouldn't look that different on the inside of a Mechanicum vessel, aside from maybe deck plating and all that, and bulkheads, than it would in a Mechanicum facility. Or you can represent it as a facility and just modify the Blood and the Void rules. But I'm not going to go off on that tangent here. So there's a lot of inspiration you can draw from this game for the wargaming aspect. And I am pretty confident that somewhere down the line, you'll see Space Marine video game inspired conversions for Orcs and Space Marines and all that. And I hope so, because it'd be cool to see. Maybe some Ultramarine player wants their own Captain Titus. That'd be cool. So we have that with the game on top of the fact that it's a fun game. And I'm not going to go into the gameplay or anything about the story other than I liked it. I liked the way it went. And as far as Ultramarines themselves, I like the fact they want the Ultramarine chapter. I think the Ultramarine chapter gets pigeonholed as kind of like the very straight and narrow down a very particular path, even though they're very, I think, a very flexible, open type of army. Yes, they follow the Codex Astartes, but, you know, it's not a rigid line. They can bend that line and do things and survive. And, you know, they're a chapter with great success and a great history. They're doing something right. So I like the fact that it was Ultramarines and it wasn't Blood Ravens. As much as I like the Blood Ravens, and I do like the Blood Ravens, I just think if you were playing Blood Ravens in this setting, in this scheme, would it have worked? Yeah. I don't know. I don't think I would have liked it as much. It's just something different. Now, granted, Ultramarines are the poster boys for the Space Marine armies, so it's not that different of a look, but at least it's different enough. It's from red to blue, and that's pretty different, so that was cool. Not going to go into the whole idea of maybe was the right chapter or not. There are some people who don't think it is, and that's fine. That's their own opinion. I personally believe that the Ultramarines were a good pick of a chapter for this game. And I'm probably going to do a video on the Ultramarines in the future because I do think they kind of get the short end of the stick by a lot of people, including Ultramarine players going, yeah, they're kind of, boring for this, that, and the other thing. And I thought that for a bit too, but I had to relook at them, and I do think there's a lot to them that, I don't know, maybe it's hard to represent in armorless composition, but maybe modeling and all that, I don't know, to be honest with you, but just talk about them and their fluff a bit, because they're actually pretty cool. And one thing I got to say about the video game getting back on track is I do wish it wasn't Second Company. Every time Ultramarines are depicted, except for the Uriel Ventris novels, is Second Company. And, I would have liked to see Captain Titus maybe be third, fourth, or fifth company. It would have been cool to have Sicarius. Make this more modern, make it Sicarius, but then Sicarius has certain war gear that they would have to implement, and then you wouldn't be able to switch it up. Or if you were, maybe they thought maybe the fans wouldn't like that. I don't know, but it would have been cool to have it just be a different company, so you had a different shoulder pad trim, but the blue and the gold does look really good, so I can understand why they went Second Company. That's just my own personal nitpicking, nothing that detracts from the game or anything. So anyways, before I go off rambling more than I need to, that's my thoughts on the Space Marine video game. The multiplayer needs a patch for it to really get implemented, so can't really talk about that. I know I'll be terrible at it, so I probably won't be doing the whole non-co-op stuff that I don't think is implemented yet, but will be. And I'll probably pick up the game again in terms of playing it through single player. Probably not right away because I did do a big kind of marathon run through it, so I'm going to want some time away from it. But I could definitely see myself playing through the game again, or at least certain parts of the game again, if not the entire thing, because it was a lot of fun. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I recommend the game if you're a fan of 40k or Space Marines. I think it does justice to the setting. If you're looking for super technical fluff stuff, you will be disappointed, I feel, because it's very tip of the iceberg, so to speak, in that, which is good, because if you go too technical and too specific, you're going to lose people's interest who don't know too much about it, because they can feel overwhelmed, potentially. At least that's my thoughts. So that's it, and until next time, take it easy.